What's going on, you guys? Richard here with Fitness for Mind podcast, coming to you live with my guest, Eric.
Yes, sir.
How you
Mr.
doing?
Eric Perez. I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful night.
It definitely is. It's good to have you on board here, man. So, today is going to be our pilot episode. We're coming to you guys, letting you guys know what's going on and what Fitness for Mind is all about. So, I just want to kind of give you a quick rundown what it's going to be, what we're going to be talking about, what we're going to be sharing for future episodes. Pretty much Fitness for Mind, to me, I set this up basically because, one, a lot of you guys know me, King Richard in the gym. I love working out. I'm always there. I'm running a supplement shop here, one of our sponsors, Ultimate Sport Nutrition. But a lot of people have recently discovered and learned that I've come out about my mental health struggles I've been dealing with. So I just figured that, I'm going to be starting a podcast that's going to help show people the fitness side of the mental health that people go through with it and why we go to fitness. And it's not just to look good or work out, but it's more so a lot of us deal with a lot of mental struggles that we get out at the gym. I brought Eric on board because Eric is my cousin.
Yes, sir.
He actually helped me through my struggles I've been going through for these past years of depression, ups and downs like that, being sober now, beating, addiction and stuff like that. So I have him on board as my first episode. So
yeah, and I just want to give it to you, take my hat off to you for being able to just reaching out and talking to me. I'm a big advocate about not staying silent. Too much people have this stigma that they can't talk, that if they open up about their mental health, they're weak, or they have fear of being judged, or they think someone's going to call them crazy or think less of them. But I always say the strength is reaching out and getting help. People think that's a sign of weakness. I said that's a sign of strength. So I just want to give it to you and congratulate you for starting this podcast, and especially with all the struggles that you overcome. And now you're over here. This podcast, I believe, is going to help a lot of people. So just want to take my hat off to you, man.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to helping people. Like I said, this is just basically me coming clean of who I am, sharing my story, and hoping that others feel that they can be open about, their mental health and what they're going through. Not only just fitness, but I brought amongst fitness because that's how I got my healing done. And yeah, I've realized these years that I've struggled, I've always been able to keep a smile on. Everybody knows me as Rich, happy guy, friendly, this, that. I love talking about it. But for years, I dealt with a lot of mental health issues, struggles, depression, always upset with myself and struggling, trying to put a good image of myself out there, but I always thought, it's less of a person than everybody else. So, but yeah, I reach out.
And I feel like it's very common. I mean, it's common in today's society, but specifically in the gym, there's a lot of people going to the gym to work out their hurts and their pains and stress and anxiety, and the gym's awesome. It's a great place to burn off that energy, to clear the mind, but there's more to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Just how we spoke, there's more to putting in the work. There's more to just showing up to the gym. There's so much things you could do to improve your mental fitness.
Yeah.
Right, and we'll get into that later.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, but yeah, before we get more in depth with it, I do want to give a couple of shout outs real quick because we have a couple of sponsors here that are going to be sponsoring Fitness for Mind. First and foremost, Ultimate Sport Nutrition. We're at the shop here. I have all your supplement fitness needs here. These guys have been here for about 12 plus years, helping the fitness community, whether it's working out, sports, all the above. They're always here to help out. If you guys ever need stuff, feel free to stop by. They're always here. Next shout out is going to be TG Wellbeing, to my boy Rick and Will. I appreciate you guys for the sponsorship. What you guys are doing for this fitness community is awesome. Helping people to not only get into fitness, but get an extra additional of recovery and help from, cold plunge, sauna, massage therapy.
TG Wellbeing member right here. I love
exactly. If you guys haven't got it, go upgrade your membership. Then you could upgrade your life. That's what Will and Rick said. Next up, Chula Vista Jiu-Jitsu, Professor Ron. I love that guy. The guy is awesome. Feel free to stop by. Let them know that Fitness for Mind sent you guys over there to get you guys a class going and see what Jiu-Jitsu is all about. It's not just about grabbing on people like that. There's more to it in depth. And lastly, South Bay Heavy Hitters. Shout out to the boys. Shoot them guys a follow. If you guys want some apparel, we got a shirt right here, the Mexican flag. Come pick it up at Ultimate. It's here to pick up for you guys. Said it. Shoot them a follow, you guys. So yeah, Eric, if you could do me a favor, can you give yourself a little background on you about fitness and what you do? And why
man, I kind of got a long story of how I've been involved in fitness and mental health in general. Mm-hmm. For work, I'm actually a project executive, so I do estimating and project management for the construction company.
Yeah.
But when people talk to me and I start talking about all about the science about mental health, they're like, dude, what do you do for a living? That's just where my passion is.
Yeah.
But it's became a passion because of my own struggles. Right. I started off studying kinesiology, and so I did personal training. So I was definitely heavily involved in the fitness world. But around age 21, I started having a bunch of weird neurological symptoms.
I remember that, yeah.
I started getting like every day I was getting dizzy. I was getting migraines.
It was when you were training like MMA and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's right.
Muay Thai. Shout out to Alliance.
Was that Brandon Bear, right?
Yeah, back in the day,
Brandon Bear,
right here on
shout out,
3rd
brother.
Avenue.
Yep.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of Muay Thai, so I'm pretty sure I had some concussions. But
Quite a few. Just kidding.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I actually took a couple of brain scans, and they're like, the doctor was like, "Hey, you see this little white matter right there?" He's like, "That's not supposed to be there." I'm like, "Dang." But yeah, I went through a health struggle, and I was debilitated. You know,
Yeah.
Everyday life it was rough. Imagine trying to just like walk and like the whole ground's moving. You try to reach something, you're getting migraines, sensitivity to light. It went on for quite some time, and one of the other symptoms was like a lot of anxiety, like horrible anxiety, panic attacks. Just like I felt like my body was just wrecked. Like I had no control over it. Like daily, I would get like shortness of breath, chest tightness. So I gone through the ringer with anxiety. So I know how it feels.
Yeah.
To go through those mental health struggles. And long story short, we did a bunch of testing. Doctors are trying to figure it out. I went through the traditional medical model. They did the basic blood panel, and they're like, "Hey, you're good," right? And
Yeah.
I feel that happens to so much people. Yeah, like they just want to give you a little bit of time. And I'm not here to talk down about doctors whatsoever.
not, yeah.
But in my experience, it was kind of one of those like unknown things. Like, what's going on with me?
I remember
I was
you
like,
going through
I
that
have
stuff.
no idea what's going on with me, but I feel horrible. I was like 22, 23, supposed to be at the prime of my life, but
Yeah.
like there were some days where I could barely stand because like I felt like my body was like weak. I had no energy, and so at some point, we did some like more functional lab testing. Came out with some Lyme disease, some Bartonella, which is co-infections of Lyme disease, and some neuroautoimmunity. So my system was pretty wrecked, man. So
Yeah.
over the years, when I get flared up in a sense, when I have autoimmune issues and autoimmune flare-ups, when my nervous system gets inflamed, I still deal with a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
So because of that, I didn't roll over and say I give up. What I did is I started to educate myself.
Yep.
I started to seek help. I started to seek multiple avenues of healing, with nutrition, with supplementation, with therapy, with the gym, with breath work, with meditation. So I really went after it. So, that's why like people was like, dude, how do you know so much about, mental health sciences? Like, because I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. I wasn't getting help from the doctor, so I had to, fight for my own life
Exactly.
and educate myself. And so that's where I'm at now, man. I got a lot of knowledge in this area. I'm not a psychiatrist, not a therapist, just someone that's lived through it and had to learn, through the school of hard knocks.
Oh no, most definitely. I like I said, I'm your cousin. I've seen you went through all this. I mean, there's times where I went to see Eric for maybe a few weeks because he was just going through some stuff, through this, and I didn't really understand it then, but as time progressed, I learned more about it, and it was like, oh shit. Like,
So, I'm looking back. I was like, man, I was 21, 22, 23, going through hell, and I thought I just had to suck it up. Like I didn't tell nobody about it.
Yeah.
I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my brother. I didn't tell my friends. Like I literally just stood silent about it. It was almost a form of embarrassment. But I was suffering in silence.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I look back at that 21-year-old version of myself, and I wish I could just be like, dude, you didn't have to go through that alone.
Yeah.
You could have spoke to people, and I think that's when you finally came out to me and really expressed the depths of your struggles.
Yeah.
And how much of a relief that was, just being able to speak to somebody about it.
Yeah.
And I'm
100%.
glad that's why you started this podcast, because it get people speaking.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, man, I have a men's group that we meet up every Saturday.
Nice.
And it's a bunch of men, a bunch of different walks of life. And one day I asked, I was like, hey, who who deals with mental health issues?
Yeah.
I was like, I just feel it in my heart and my spirit to ask. And I thought it was gonna be one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Every single guy in the group
Hand
raised
went
their
up.
hand, and they started talking about it.
Was it a surprise to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was, man. Because you never know. Like, people put on this smile.
Mm-hmm.
People live their daily life. Like I said, I was 21 going through hell.
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell. Mental health is not a illness where you could see a physical, symptomology. So sometimes people think like, oh, you're good. You look young. You're healthy.
Yeah.
No, but it's the health of the brain. You can't see that. But the person that's struggling with that, they're dealing with
It's
it.
in here.
Yeah.
It's in here.
Yeah, and it's not just, someone says like, oh, just, suck it up.
Yep. And that's how.
Suck it up.
Exactly.
But there's so much more to it. It might be some trauma. It might be just overwhelm. It might be some core beliefs that you built up from a young age. It might be very physical. You might have some gut inflammation that's triggering inflammation in the brain. You might have nutrition deficiencies. You might have had some infection that triggered this. I mean, there's so much to it,
Yeah.
but you would never know.
Exactly.
And that's why I think there's so much healing and just telling your story.
100%.
To say like, someone could say like, oh shoot, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Like I was out on a little double date one time, and it was with the older couple,
Yeah.
and I could just see it in my friend's wife, and I could see something was weighing on her, and I started talking to her a little bit about it, and like when I told her some of my struggles, I just see her eyes light up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm
She
not
radiated like,
I'm
like,
not
oh,
the
shit.
only one.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, these are some of my symptoms that I dealt with. And she's like, oh my God, I thought I was going crazy. I was like, no, I mean, it could feel like that, but I was like, hey, that's anxiety. Those are some symptoms of anxiety. But just for me sharing my story, like I could just see like a weight lifted off her shoulders. So, I mean, that's why, like, I plan on being a very frequent guest host on this show, because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I think the more you talk about it, the more people can relate, and ultimately the more people that could feel better.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's true what you say about, feeling like you're alone, feeling that you can't open up, because me, like I said, me in this community here with, the gym, the shop that I run here, Ultimate, just be around people know Rich, man. He's the guy that talks great. He's friendly, holds conversation. I'm a chatty Cathy. Just, that's who I am. I like to just energize and talk to people, make people happy. That's what I do. But yeah, for years I just struggled with just, as long as I made someone else happy, I'm good. But as soon as they got home, nope, the mental hit me. The stress, the overthinking, the anxiety. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm this, I'm that. That's why I'm in the gym, destroying my body, trying to get big. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to lift. People ask me, hey man, are you a powerlifter? Are you a bodybuilder? I was like, no, I just lift. Well, why?
This boy's strong.
Yeah, I'm not. But like I said, I mean, my first job was 24-hour fitness. When I turned 18, this shop was my first shop I shopped at. Now I'm running it, and I've been in this industry. I'm 32 now, so still going. And people ask me, I'm like, hey, how'd you do it? What's the trick? I said, honestly, man, consistency and going. But honestly, again, the reason why I stuck to this is because this was my only outlet of the pain, the hurt, the anger that I had up in my, my mind, my mental. So, I always came from here, and then, at the time, we had that little pandemic that happened. When that kind of happened, it kind of really messed me up because I didn't have chances to go work out. I said, okay, I need to find another outlet. I got to find another way to do it. I started, trying to find ways of doing it. But the gym was just my go-to, So once again, once TG opened up, during that time, it was an awesome and kind of got me back on track. But still, I still struggled. I still had these issues here. But more recently, up to date now, currently, like my cousin was talking about, I came clean. I opened up about my addiction, but I was going through some substance abuse, for a good while. And it was just one thing just to kind of like feel good, but came to a point where I was doing it to numb myself, numb the feeling, numb the emotion, numb what I was feeling, say, okay, I'm going to make it through another day because I have this to do. As long as I have this, we're good. It got to the point where, I was relying on it, where I wasn't eating. I wasn't doing it. I was just functioning off it. I'm not going to mention what the substance is, but, I just, it was my thing. And then finally, one night, it just hit me on the way home. I just started coughing up blood. My nose started bleeding. I knew I had to stop because I was going down a path that was not going to be good for me. So that, I cut it cold turkey and still did not tell anybody about it. I just said, I just had to go to the hospital for something else. And then I remember it was a Sunday. I was home just hanging out, watch TV, do my thing. And then it was about maybe 2 weeks after I'd stopped, and my mental, like, I don't know if you guys ever, felt this moment. I know there's anxiety, but just your mental taking a dive, like just shutting down, like you just, boom, like you just feel unhappy, just, it just shot me down. And I just remember I had texted my cousin, like, hey man, what are you doing? And he texted me back, and I delayed a response, and I told him, I said, and this part's the hardest thing to talk about, but I honestly told my cousin, like, hey man, you know what? I don't want to live no more. I don't want to be here no more, because it just, my mental was, excuse me, but it was. And yeah, and he just said, what are you talking about, man? Like, is this just a moment you feel? Like that? I said, no, man, like, I just don't want to be alive no more. I'm done. I'm done with this shit. I'm over it. I can't do it no more. And knowing that I know what that comes to, I was still willing to say, I'm done, And I started driving in the car, just saying, no, I'm going to go. And it just, my cousin was texting me, calling me, hey, just come over, come to my brothers, come over, come see the kids. And I was just, boom, boom. And finally, when I saw the message about, my nieces and nephews just come visit them, it kind of hit me. It's like, you know what? That's not fair to them, because not only them that they love seeing me, that radiates more, because they're so innocent that, they want. I said, okay, I'm going to come see you. Pulled up to my cousin's house. Eric, came to greet me, just arms wide open. And the moment I hugged my cousin, I just lost it. I wept, I cried, I just let everything out of the years and years of hurt and pain, and just wept. My cousin James came and hugged me as well, and it just felt relief to let it out and share and express. And we sat there for a few hours talking about and expressing what I've gone through, why I feel this. And Eric, like he's explained to you the stuff that he's gone through with mental health, what he's learned, and as he expressed it definitely helped me, because he helped me to understand and how to process things. Like, you know what, we're human. We're going to have our moments that we're down. We're going to have the times that we're not happy, but we also can feel down, but you can also feel happy. You can look at situations like, you know what, this is a moment I'm feeling.
Yeah. Those that's called dialectics, right?
Exactly.
Two things could exist at once, right? A lot of times we think in extremes.
Yep.
Meaning that, all is bad.
And
but then you take a look at your
with.
day and you go, there was actually some good things. So like dialectics are saying that, yeah, even though I'm unhappy about X, Y, and Z, I'm unhappy about this particular thing, I can still have joy in this. It's a lot of and statements. A lot of times we say but, like, I got a good job, but my marriage is a mess, or my marriage is great, but I'm struggling financially, right?
Yeah.
We use that but as a way to excuse or kind of discredit the positive. But when you start to speak and statements, it's like, hey, I'm dealing with this, and I also have these positive things in my life.
Yeah.
I'm hurting in this scenario, and I know that I'm working towards healing, right?
Yeah.
It gives your brain that second option, so you're not catastrophized, you're not all or nothing thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's one of the tools that I use, and I'm glad that tool worked for you, man.
It definitely did, dude. Just work with that. Another thing that you showed me is like grounding yourself. Take like a 10-minute walk and look around you, and really look around you. When your mind is being overrun, having anxiety, overthinking, take a second, like, look at the sky, it's blue. Why is it blue? Or look at the trees, or look at the bird. Just look at something and start really focusing on that and looking around you. And within that little time frame, you're gonna realize, okay, there's just a moment. I'm okay. The moment's gone. It's
Absolutely.
good. And it's just, it was experience.
So I mean, when you're caught up in that state, man, it's a vicious cycle. It's rumination. You're just thinking about all the negative, all the hurts, all the pain, and you're just caught up in this hamster wheel of thoughts. Yep. And you're just spinning and spinning and spinning. And sometimes, your mind's your worst enemy. You're just pouring full fuel on the fire when you're trying to think more and think your way out of it. So sometimes you just got to give that mind a break and say, hey, I'm going to separate myself from those thoughts just for a moment. And simply going on a walk. I mean, I used to be like, man, what is a walk supposed to do? Like, I'm dealing with some real stuff. This ain't going to heal me.
Yeah.
Like, I was always looking for that one trick to heal me. But then you go, oh, man, I went on a 5-10 minute walk, and I was just grounded and saying, oh, man, just noticing, oh, what color is that tree? What color is that car? What color is the sky? Obviously blue, but
Yeah.
you know, you're just bringing your attention to outside of your own mind, and next thing you know, you go, oh my God, I feel better.
Yeah.
It's like I was at 10 out of 10 stressed out, and now I'm at a 5.
Yep.
Like these little techniques, they're so simple, but they work.
It's crazy because you did teach me the techniques, and as simple as they sound, after that day, like I said, I was not going to be perfect. I knew I was. I'm still going to have these struggles. I'm still going to go through it because no one's perfect. But when those situations popped up with me, because I had a few anxiety attacks, I had a few moments I'm like, I know because it comes down, the withdrawals from being off the substance was a big thing, but I took note of what my cousin taught me, and I did those exercises, and it 100%, not every single time was I good, ready to go, but it definitely gave me more relief, more understanding of myself. And this time being, like, I think it's been, what now, like 3 weeks now, 4 weeks maybe, give or take, since this situation. And I can definitely say, just in that short amount of time, my life isn't perfect, but I've definitely come a long way to where I'm at in regards to this podcast. I mean, that's the reason why I decided to make this podcast, because I want to share this stuff to let you guys know that you're not alone. Everybody goes through it. Men and women go through it. I know the big thing, the stigma is mainly for men. We're supposed to be macho, strong. We can't be emotional. But, I mean, I've gone live on my Instagram and shared my story, and I've had multiple men that you would even think are going through shit that reach out to me. Hey, man, thank you for what you're doing, man, because you're doing what I can't. Being vulnerable, open. I'm like, yeah, man, it's, just
It's
when
empowering. It really is.
Yeah.
Just to hear somebody like, dang, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Like when you're isolated and you feel alone, that's when it really strengthens that pain. But to just understand that, oh my God, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't even have to say anything to the person, or just them knowing that, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So there's healing in that. There's healing in community, for sure. There's healing in opening up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why this podcast, man, is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for all the guests that are going to come share their own stories.
Yeah, that's the guest part. I mean, thank you guys that have been already hitting me up that want to come on. Like, I mean, you guys booked in, don't worry. But yeah, just see where this is going to take off and go. I have faith in it. And obviously, however you guys view or not, the big thing is I'm giving this to God to help me take this going. Like, because He's the one that's helped me get through this and heal.
Absolutely.
But in regards to it,
Amen.
like, I just want to tell you straight up, you're not alone. You want to talk to me, hit me up. You want to keep it personal, you don't have to come podcast. I'm still open ears. I mean, I had a guy yesterday coming up to me in the gym. I was working out, mid-workout. When I'm in the zone, they call me the silverback. I'm going. I'm pumped. Gentleman came up to me and said, hey, man, like, I just want to start me. I was like, what's up, man? Hey, my name's such. I follow your social media. I just recently follow you. I followed your podcast. I just want to tell you thank you. I'm like, for what? Like, did you buy a supplement? Did I recommend you? He's like, nah, man, just talking about it. Like, you're definitely giving me a hope in life. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, man, you're welcome. And I didn't realize at that moment because I was zoned in on the workout. But I took a step back. I'm like, man, you don't need to thank me. Thank you for coming to talk to me, because I want you to know that you're not alone, dude. You're going to get through this, whatever it is, and you're going to have your hard times, your high times, but you're not alone. And honestly, before I came out with all this stuff and shared it to the world, I felt if I did share this, I'm going to have less people like that. But honestly, since I've shared, opened up, my support group, my circle has grown. And I'm like, dude, like...
Yeah, man, you got to let your story inspire others. And people think, oh, I got to have this inspirational story of being perfect.
Yeah.
I can't tell a story that inspires anyone if I'm broken.
Well, that's social media for you right there.
Yeah,
Man. That's social media.
It's such a facade,
not to hate on
man.
anybody, but
I've noticed. I've seen people hurting, and all of a sudden take a quick second to smile and take a picture. I mean, that's such a facade, man. We can't buy into that facade,
100%.
and we can't compare ourselves to that. But let your story inspire others, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I was listening to a teaching, and he says, "When's the last time you were thankful for your struggle?" I mean, like truly grateful for the things you learn from your struggle. So that's when you go through struggles and you go through pain, that's where the strength and that's where the victory is. Sharing it, letting that inspire and motivate somebody else. That's saying, dang, you went through that?
Yeah.
You go through that? You're going through that?
Yeah.
And be grateful. Say, I was able to touch somebody's life through my story. My story is not in vain.
Yeah.
My pain is not in vain. So let that inspire people.
It's not gonna inspire everybody, but it's at least gonna inspire one person at least. And
yeah.
One person.
And you don't got to be perfect. Sometimes you just got to be human.
Exactly.
I'm so overplaying the I'm like, hey, how you doing? Oh, everything's swell and great.
Yeah.
It's like, be a human, dude. If you're feeling bad, it's like, yeah, it is a rough day.
Yeah.
You don't got to pretend.
Exactly.
What we used to say back in the day, you don't got to lie to kick it.
I remember that.
Throwback.
Yeah, super throwback.
You don't, though. Like, just start being humans.
Exactly.
We don't got to pretend that we have it all together at every moment of our life. Like, we're human beings. We're allowed to feel emotions.
Exactly.
We're allowed to feel stress. We're allowed to feel sadness. We're allowed to feel anger. We're allowed to feel, the full spectrum of human emotions. But it's how we deal with them.
Exactly.
It's how we react to them. And when we get in a place that maybe there's too much of those negative emotions, then we realize we got to hit the gym.
Yeah.
But not just the gym.
Exactly.
I'm talking about the mental gym.
Exactly.
No, so that's a great transition. Why did you pick this name, Fitness for Mind?
Well, because I learned, it's in the quote right there. It's like, when it comes to fitness for mind, the quote says, if you guys saw the post I put in there, the body achieves what the mind believes. So this is the most powerful tool you have in your body. If you don't believe you're going to do something, you're not going to do it. Like me, these guys could tell you, like, I was anxious, like, dang, this podcast is going to be today. I'm nervous. I was sweating. I was like, man, you're going to do good. You're going to do good, you know?
He was texting me at midnight.
Well,
I actually texted you.
This?
I was reading the notes.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I was like,
that's good though,
what do
man.
you think,
A little bit of anxiety it's natural, man.
Yeah.
It's because you're excited. Like, you got to use that energy.
And that's what I got from it. Now that I'm here, this feels great. I'm natural, I guess. It's cool. It's awesome, being here. And I don't expect this to take off. As long as this reaches one person, I'm happy with that. But you know what?
Like, shout out to Mom.
Hi, Mom. But yeah, man. So like I said, I know this is our pilot episode. I just want to keep it, pretty good. But right there, you guys, this is kind of like what I'm looking for that's going to be coming on these podcasts. Not every single episode. We're going to make it fun. Don't worry. There's going to be a lot of guests on here. I have people lined up ready to come out, about, fitness, bodybuilding, clothing lines, people that open up gyms, businesses. It's going to be more than that. But the main thing that we're going to surround is the fitness in the mind. It's not just working out, but like Eric said, the fitness in here. How are you working out your mind?
I think that name was solid, man. Like, Fitness for Mind. What did that mean for me? It's like, we all go to the gym, right? Well, not all of us.
Some do. Yeah.
A lot of people, right? We go to the gym.
Just don't go to TG at 4 o'clock. It's packed.
To work out.
Yeah.
Right? To gain some muscle, right? Get the gains. To lose some weight. Get a little slim, work on that body.
Yep.
Right? With fitness, we know that we got to put in the work. Right? It's not enough about just going in and saying, hey, I know that if I lift weights, I'm going to get muscles. I know that if I'm at a caloric deficit, that I'm going to lose some weight. Or I know if I'm eating clean, that I'm going to shred some fat, But you're out here eating 4,000 calories of freaking McDonald's. Like, it's not enough about knowing.
He's not talking about me, I swear.
I look
Maybe
right
pizza,
at you.
Yeah.
Nah.
Guilty.
Yeah, fitness is not. It's like, oh, I know I should diet, but if you don't diet, you're not going to lose weight.
But like,
same thing though with the mind. It's like,
exactly.
I know that I should probably do some things for my mental health.
Yeah. It's like, we didn't wake up today knowing how to get fit. We didn't wake up knowing how to do all these things. We've learned. We've had trainers.
Exactly, right.
We studied. We looked up.
You got to put in the work. Like, if you're new to the gym, get a personal trainer.
Exactly.
If
Shout out
you're
to all the trainers.
Yeah. If you go bodybuilding.com. I remember when I first started, I was on that website all the time, like looking at Jim Stepani, all his research.
Yep.
But like, if you don't know how to work out the mind, ask. Get that personal trainer. What's that called? That's called a therapist. Like, dude,
right there,
shout out to the therapists out there, man. Like, where other place can you work on growing yourself? Like, you got one life, one mind. Might as well make the best out of it. But I mean, that's what Fitness for Mind is. It's like, you got to actually put in the reps.
You
gotta do the work. Yeah. I know that if I do some deep breathing and I'm stressed out, it's gonna help calm my nervous system and get me relaxed, stimulate that parasympathetic activity. But if I'm stressed out and I don't do it, it doesn't work. Same thing, like I said.
Exactly.
I know that I should be able to be hitting those compound movements to boost the testosterone and get overall muscle mass. But if I'm not doing it, it doesn't work. Yeah. So why not put in the same amount of effort in our mental fitness, right? Doing things like picking up a book, seeing a therapist, talking to people about it. You know, so it's like that fitness for mind is like, how can we go to the gym? Let's take you to the gym.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, just like people could pick up a phone, watch social media for a good 1-2 hours. I mean, be honest, you guys, how many times have you looked at your phone on TikTok, Instagram, whatever social, and I'm not hating on it. You know you've done it. You look at the time like, oh man, it's been like 3 hours, and you just watch videos. Yeah, you may have got a good laugh, feels good, but have you ever thought about maybe moving that time elsewhere into reading a book, researching something about yourself, or doing something new that, you know, that's going to help better yourself, not only fitness wise, but mentally wise, emotionally wise, you know? And I started reading books. You know, I don't like reading books. I think the only book I read was what's it called, To Kill a Mockingbird, I think. And
See Spot Run.
That was a good movie. I didn't read the book though. But you know, invest in that time elsewhere. Make time. Balance your time out. Everybody says I don't have time. I don't have time. You have the time in every single day. 48 hours to do what you got. Sleep like that.
24.
24. Yeah, I said 48.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
so one thing I heard, someone says, you do not have the right to say that you don't have time if there's time wasters in your day. If you spend an hour on social media, which most of us spend more time, you don't have the right to say, I don't have the time in the day. You have the time, your just priorities aren't set straight.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's hard, you know. Social media, these habits, they take a while to form, and sometimes they're hard to break. But how important is your mind, man? How important is this life of yours to say, like, man, I could do something to actually improve my well-being, who I am, like, down to my soul, down to my very essence of myself. But I would rather spend an hour, you know, scrolling through, you know, these food videos on TikTok. It's like, dude, like, no,
Exactly.
like, just as important it is for you to get some buys, some tries, how much more important is that mental health, right? It's you. It's who you are.
Yeah.
Your brain is who you are. So let's take care of it, man. And that's something I look forward to talking about in the future.
Yeah.
Different techniques, different modalities that you can use to put in those reps.
Exactly.
Like what type of set we're doing for the mind today. Like let's talk about it.
There you go.
But disclaimer, you know, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. These are things that I just learned that work for me through my own studies. And I encourage you guys, you know, start seeing what works for you. And if you are struggling and you are going through some stuff, reach out, man. There's so much out there. There's so much out there. It's just a Google search away.
Literally, I'm an advocate for that. My story, like I said, if it hasn't relate to you guys, like my story is a huge advocate of me thinking there's nothing out there for me I can't do. I'm just gonna work out, and hopefully it goes away. But there's more out there than just the gym. I love the gym. Don't worry, you're gonna still see me in there. But I'm also doing other ways to help myself, better myself, and this is another one. Creating a podcast to help others. Hoping my story at least helps somebody. You know.
And that's one thing. You know, I told you that day. I said, Richard.
That's me.
Yeah, Rich.
King of
I was like, there's hope.
BDR.
There's always something you can do.
Yeah.
Like you thought the only, you know, option was, you know, ending it.
Yeah.
Sadly, but I just really wanted you to know, like, hey, the pain is real and it hurts, but there's options to heal from the pain. There's so much there. I was like, there's thousands of different modalities. I told you we're gonna try 1,001 modalities to heal this pain. And I was like, and then I asked you, I was like, Esther, how do you feel now? Like we were talking for about 30 minutes an hour. I was like, hey, how do you feel? He's like, you know, I feel like 50% better. I was like, let that be known to your brain. I was like, you thought there was no options.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, dude, we just talked with two people that loved you, and you go, I feel better. Yeah. So I mean, dude, there's always options. So exhaust your options.
Yes.
Exhaust them.
Yes.
Therapy, CBT, DBT, ACT, EMDR. These are all different forms of therapists, and if that therapist don't work, try another one.
This boy's flowing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true.
You know, grab a book. There's hundreds and there's thousands of books out there. There's multiple friends. Like, just go.
Well, just like you said, like the fitness gym. There's different diets. There's different ways how to eat.
Yeah,
foods that work with you, foods that don't.
There's a bunch of different proteins over here.
Exactly. We have different supplements that's going to help you out. Not every supplement works for the same person. Not everything reacts differently. Your diet doesn't react differently. Everybody handles it differently. So exhausting your options, learning, researching, and doing it, that's the biggest thing I tell you is do yourself research. Because if you rely on social media or other people to tell you what to do and you don't even do your own research, I'm going to tell you this, it will take a toll on you.
Yeah, and if you're not a big research person, like I said, all they got to take is searching Google mental health service.
100%.
And they'll provide you some resources.
That right there is just basically having confidence in yourself. And having confidence in yourself is one of the most powerful things, because when you doubt yourself and have no confidence and you lack it, trust me, it affects the rest of the mental. Because I struggled with that. I showed that I was good, but I had so much doubt in myself. It was just, it struggled, you know? So, but yeah, man, like I said.
Got to put in those reps.
Yeah.
Some mental exercises are cardio. Some mental exercises are cutting out.
Yep.
You got to cut out some bad food. Sometimes we got to cut out some bad thoughts.
Yeah, cut out bad food.
Sometimes we got to cut out some bad people, man.
You know, what hobbies, whatever it is, make changes.
Sometimes we got to feed ourselves the nutrition, you know. You could do all the exercise you want, but if you're not getting the adequate protein intake, you're not going to grow.
Exactly.
So sometimes we got to feed our brain with the right stuff.
100%.
I mean, we could, you could talk about supplements, but I'm talking about the thoughts.
Yeah.
The people you hang out with, the things you listen to, the things you watch, man.
Yeah, and we've heard it all. Like
fitness and mind, man, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like these metaphors are like spot on.
Yeah.
But it's so popular to go work out. But how popular is it to go and put in some reps for the mind?
Exactly.
And that's just what we're here, dude.
Exactly.
That's what we're about.
100%. Eric can
trying to get them gains, baby.
I got enough of those, but yeah. But like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. This is our very first episode now, Fitness for Mind. You know, I love you guys. I appreciate the support and looking forward to doing more videos, getting more guests on here. Eric, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you being here.
Back.
He'll definitely be back. And I want to give a shout out to my camera people, Angie, Isaac. Appreciate you guys. Without you guys, it would have been awesome. I'll get them on camera later. And lastly, again, to my sponsors, you know, Ultimate Sport Nutrition, you know, the shop that we're at, TG Wellbeing, Chula Vista Jiu-Jitsu, and South Bay Heavy Hitters. Shoot them a follow, you guys. Show them some love. If you look at the YouTube video I'm posting, the links will be below. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow it. I appreciate you guys and looking forward to hear back. And please give me your feedback. Give me some stuff you want to talk about. Let me know. Let me share. And if you don't want to come on, but you want to express something, I'll share it for you here on the show. But once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. You know, you guys have a good night, okay? Take care.
Day one over.
Day one over. And cut.